Welcome back to the Barcode Collective podcast. I'm your host, Jacob Saldana. I got Tori White with me.
What's up? What's up?
Yes. Got her over here at the Fit Bar in Sunset Beach. A little change of studio for me. Usually it's the van or up in Space Bar, but we built out this little private gym. We calling it the employee private gym, and now it's the new Barcode Collective studio for today at least.
This little place is so cool.
You know, it comes out of getting your back pushed up against the wall and trying to adapt. So that's what this is. You know, like a lot of what COVID has created. COVID's either created fear or it's created fucking heroes. You know what I mean? So it's like, you know, we're going to talk a little bit about that, talk about how COVID has impacted you. But before we get up to date, current, present moments, why don't you do me a favor and give a little bio about who you are, where you come from, what you're currently doing. Let the people who don't know you get to know you a little bit.
All right. Well, my name is Tori. First name's Victoria, last name's White. I was actually born in San Clemente, California, raised in Vegas most of my life. Just recently moved down to California in November to pursue being a sponsored athlete with LVFT, obviously, because they're down here in Huntington, and personal training, coaching, and eventually kind of build my own brand out here. I feel like there's so much more opportunity as well. I grew up playing soccer most of my life until I was about
position?
Right wing.
Right wing, okay. I grew up overweight, so naturally I was a goalkeeper. They're like, put the fat kid in the net. He ain't got to do much, but you know, I shed that not too long ago.
Yeah, I mean, look at you now. You look great.
Been hanging in there. So right wing soccer was the sport of choice.
Yeah, I also tried cheer. Not the best at it because I was a major tomboy. So I slouched the whole time. I'm like, I was not a peppy person. I was on dance team. That was a lot of fun. I was an only child growing up as well. So spent most of my time alone.
And my girlfriend is as well. So it's like, people, I mean, that makes huge differences, you know, like growing up by yourself, you need to kind of figure out how to somewhat entertain yourself, be comfortable with yourself. And, you know, I think a lot of times we don't give as much credit to some of those things that shape us, you know, and like it's not until we get older and we're able to kind of reflect back on some of the loops that we keep finding ourselves in. So what was it like growing up as a single child?
I loved it.
Yeah.
Honestly. I feel like it helped me be a little more independent. Not knocking anyone that has obviously like sisters and brothers, you know, that's an amazing thing that I never got to experience. But luckily I do have a half sister who's 7. So it's really cool to be able to like see her grow up. But I'm at an age now where I can also help her learn and grow.
Yeah, absolutely.
And create those morals that, you know, I can, because I'm old enough now to be able to help her with that.
Yeah.
So it's pretty cool. But my mom said that I was just a very chill child. I would hang out in my room, never like yelled or screamed or made noise. I just kind of not really fended for myself, but in a way, you know, hanging out in there and just being alone with your own thoughts. But as a kid, you know, your mind is still growing as well.
Yeah, did you feel a lot of pressure, like there were spotlights on you since you were the only child?
Honestly, no.
Yeah, I think that's one of maybe the complexes that comes out of being an only child is like used to having the attention on them, and then you know the opposite is somewhat true for kids growing up, you know, in larger families. I mean, the oldest sibling has their own set of issues, the middle has theirs, the youngest have theirs. So like I'm the youngest child, and you know that kind of shows up now as an adult in unique ways, you know. But yeah, we won't need to therapy and dive too deep into it. But tell me a little bit about what it was like growing up in Vegas. You know, like Vegas is one of those towns where everybody knows about it, but the perception of Vegas is the Vegas Strip, the parties, it's all that. But being actually from Vegas, what was it like growing up there?
So the Strip is a very just small part of Vegas. Vegas is huge. You know, you have North Vegas, Southwest, East. It goes Henderson. Vegas is huge. And when I was growing up, I mean, I never was near the Strip. So to me, it was completely normal. But growing up and experiencing things that, you know, someone from maybe like Missouri or Ohio, it is a little bit different because I feel like with those places, you're a lot more outdoorsy. There's a lot more things to do with nature versus in Vegas, it's so hot.
You were stoked to come to California?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. I always felt like California was just like my home and my heart. So every time I'd come down here, I just felt at ease. You know, my mind felt calm. And the weather, you cannot beat the weather.
Yeah.
When you think California, you think the weather.
It's beautiful, and that's why it's so damn expensive to live in this state. You know, which is kind of crazy to see, like, you know, with COVID and this like mass exiting of California, like a lot of people are moving away, you know, just because it's so expensive, because like during COVID there, you know, we're so densely populated here in the Los Angeles area, you know, that people aren't reaping the benefits that California typically has to offer because we can't really go out to, you know, bars, nightlife, or a lot of the things that typically attract people. So people are, you know, bouncing out to Texas, Austin, all sorts of different areas of the country. So it's, you know, it's going to be interesting to see, you know, how California gets out of this, you know.
Yeah.
And, but whatever, we're doing our best. We're doing our best to survive.
Everyone's doing their best.
So being in Vegas is when you kind of started your personal training career?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Did you and you started at a young age, or what made you want to get into personal training?
So when I was, it was my very first job was at Hollister. Typical, right?
Yeah.
Just kidding.
Either Hollister or Abercrombie with all the cologne and the perfume sprayed all around?
And then I started working at Rehab Beach Club at the Hard Rock as a lifeguard. This was before I was 21. And I worked at the pools for about 7 years. So I started young, but then I also was very mentally done when I was young. Because a lot of people start when they're 21 and then they go on till they're 30. And, you know, you make a lot of money. It's hard to leave.
Yeah.
It's really hard to leave. But I was at a point where it just wasn't fulfilling anymore. I felt very drained after 7 years.
Yeah.
And I'm just like, I want to get out of this so badly. And I got into fitness when it was right before I was 21. And I was just going to the gym. I didn't even know what I was doing. I'd walk on the treadmill because I had quit soccer when I was 18. So I was looking for some type of fulfillment and I couldn't find it. But then seeing girls in the magazines or in the bikini competitions, like the NPC shows, I looked at them and I'm like, oh, I want to look like that. How do I do that? How do I figure that out? So I started going to the gym. I do a couple bicep curls on the cable machine and the treadmill.
Absolutely.
I was just like anybody else. I didn't know.
Were you doing the dumbbells and pumping the guns on the treadmill at the same damn time?
I was actually using a bicep curl machine, not even dumbbells. So I didn't even get that far yet. But yeah, and I got into working out and I just found this like love and passion and feeling strong and like I could take care of myself.
Yeah.
It just gave me this overwhelming feeling of empowerment.
Yeah, I mean, that was probably, I mean, that's important, you know what I mean? And that sounds like the right motivation to get in the gym, you know, to feel stronger. When you were working at the pools, like I can't imagine that was, you know, like you said, you were so mentally over it and drained. What was that like? You know, like guys are fucking creeps to begin with for the most part, you know, not throwing all the guys under the bus, but like we go through our stages. I've been a fucking creep in my life, luckily grown out of it.
I'm like, like I know.
Luckily have grown out of it. But I can only imagine, you know, like the walls you either got to put up with or just what that's like for you, you know?
It was extremely tough because bringing this back to being an only child, I was very introverted and I had a hard time being social with people. And whenever like my mom introduced me to someone, I'd get like beet red and I didn't know what to say. I'm like, do I say thank you? Do I say hi? I don't even know what to say right now. I'm so nervous. Like I couldn't get any type of conversation flowing. And so I had to really learn to come out of that a lot.
Yeah, I bet.
And it was extremely tough because my first few years working there, everyone thought people didn't think I was mean, not like that, but if customers had a question, I like buckled under pressure. And I'm just like, I don't know what to say. Oh no, like, I
Yeah.
don't know how to answer this. I know the answer in my head, but when they ask me, I can't even think. I can't think straight. It's like my brain just is empty, and I feel like I can't find the answer.
Yeah.
But I had to really learn how to be a lot more open with people and outgoing, and I'm actually extremely glad that I did it for 7 years, because it helped me become, kind of the person I am today, and
Yeah.
doing what I do and being able to be on social media and being comfortable with putting the phone in front of my face in the grocery store and being like, oh, look, this is what I'm buying. And people are just staring at me.
Yeah. Yeah.
But
No.
not caring as much.
Yeah, and that's the thing is like, no matter where we are, we got to go through some things that we maybe don't necessarily love, but who we are when we come out of it are most oftentimes better people. Help shape us into having more confidence, you being able to speak more confidently with clients or just anybody. So
Don't get me wrong, I still get nervous. Remember I told you, I was like, this is my first podcast. What if I blank? What if I don't know what to say? Like,
that's what I'm here for. I can talk about nothing forever. So you're fine.
thank you for helping me like break the ice here.
I know,
Like,
ain't nothing.
the
It's
podcast
just
world.
a couple people over here just having a conversation. That's all it is. So now that you about to open up the floodgates, everyone's gonna be trying to hit you up for that podcast. So you better strap in, be ready.
I'm ready. I was very excited that you asked me,
Good.
and I felt honored,
Awesome.
that you chose me to.
No, I mean, because like all of our stories are so worth sharing. You know what I mean? And I'm very interested in coaches and the message that you put out there. Because a lot of times it is painted in fluff and bullshit, but like a lot of the text that you put under your photos or whatnot, are really trying to help people find not only a a healthier lifestyle, but to ask themselves some questions to kind of find a little bit more fulfillment, or to become better people, or just ask why they're doing anything that they're fucking doing. You know what I mean? So in one of them, just from a few posts again, you mentioned something about like imagining a life that wasn't so influenced by our insecurities.
Yes.
So in regards to that, what are some of your biggest insecurities, and how do they end up influencing you kind of throughout your day?
Oh man.
Because this is again like, and this is the shit that I think is so important to like spend some time with and think about, because you being on Instagram and having some influence and being a beautiful woman, like without people having like the right view of that, and you sharing the deeper insights about it, people end up just comparing themselves to like what you look like and wanting to aspire to look like you, and that has nothing to do with it. You know what I mean? Like it's all about, again, like leaning into some of these insecurities, leaning into personal growth. And, that's why I'm appreciative of you being able to have those conversations and like put those out there to get people start thinking about that, and not just people just using their influence for whatever. We have enough missed messages out there.
Yeah.
So like, I really appreciate that stuff.
Thank you. Something so small, like such a small caption like that, I kid you not, I will sit and stare at whatever photo I'm going to post, and I'm like, what is really going to go with this picture right here? When someone reads my caption, are they going to resonate with what I'm trying to say? Are they looking at my picture and reading the caption and like, oh, this is just another picture of her just modeling, and then she's just like, hey, this is me.
Yeah.
Even if it's so small, I'll sit there for like 45 minutes, sometimes an hour or so, and I'll read through different captions, but I also go off of like the mood that I'm in for that day, or how am I feeling this day, or what type of thoughts have gone through my head, or what has my morning been like, or the rest of the day. And that kind of helps me make those captions, even if it's so small. But if I read it and I'm like, yes, that makes me question myself, or like, how am I going to answer that? That's kind of how I make my captions. And sometimes, don't get me wrong, there's captions where I'm like, I really don't know what to say. I'm just going to say, hey, I hope you guys all have a great day.
Yeah, for sure.
But
so
going off of, like you said, the insecurities.
So what are some of your insecurities? Let's hear it. Come on, give it to the people.
When you think of insecurities, I feel like a lot of people go straight for physical aspects. And I'm not going to lie, I do too. I used to be really insecure with like my skin. So I'd always feel like I had to wear makeup. Or I got made fun of a lot in high school for having long legs. So that also.
You said, look at me now, motherfucker. You know what I mean? Like.
Yeah, and I mean, those are all just like physical insecurities. Do you have any insecurities that are going on mentally? How's your mental health? You know, when you walk outside, do you just want to like slump over in a hoodie with it all the way down, and nobody's gonna see you, or are you confident in who you are? Because it's not always just about physical looks too.
Yeah, definitely.
It's how you treat people. Are you nice to people? Do you open the door for people? Do you say thank you? Do you say you're welcome? Do you smile?
Yeah, and like, I don't even know what the photo was that you posted that caption with, but if it was more of one of the modeling photos or whatever, I think that's an important message, that, you know, models and everybody that you guys might be aspiring to look like have their insecurities, oftentimes physical insecurities, you know what I mean? And that's what I think is so important, is to let everybody know that we are all the same.
Everyone,
you know, like, it doesn't matter if you have 150,000, 12 million followers,
or
successful
1,000.
business. None of that shit matters, because we are all struggling with the exact same thing, you know. And I think that is ultimately the message that we just really need to share, you know. And then, you know, so whether it is highlighting some of the physical insecurities, like, you know, being teased about having long legs, you know, I don't know if that led to an insecurity or not, but we have to lean into those, and we have to share those. And I'm very like candid with, you know, all my employees and my crew, probably even more so than I should be, but there's no doubt that they know that I'm fucking human. You know what I mean? So like, to me, it's weird as hell when they think that they look at me like as the boss or whatever, and I see them tense up, and you know, that's weird to me, because again,
that's good though. A boss should be a leader. They don't want the boss doesn't necessarily have to be someone that talks down on people. Yeah. They're like, I want you to look up at me. Yeah. And
but even, I mean, I probably show up in the way that I do due to insecurities, you know, insecurities of that hierarchy of not wanting to be that guy, because I always looked at, you know, authority and was like, fuck you, you know, like, type of shit. So it's like going out of my way to be the friend, because I don't want to be viewed as that guy.
But you also want to be respected as well.
So it's a fine line, but list one of your maybe mental or social insecurities.
Okay, so before, it was like kind of like right when I got started on trying to like be an influencer and be on Instagram, I was extremely nervous on, I don't want to say messing up, but making a fool of myself, or having people laugh at me, or anything in that type of realm. And for the longest time, I would redo my Instagram stories over and over and over again until I'm like, okay, that sounds right. No, wait, I don't like the way that I said that word, or that sounds weird, or I slurred my word or something. And it was hard for me to like put that dog's really cute, sorry. But then I also like, I'm like, oh, I don't like the way my lip looks, but that comes with physical. But anyway, what I was getting at is I've learned to just embrace being weird and just being myself and making fun of myself and letting people laugh with me, because I'm like, I'm laughing at myself, so you can't laugh at me if I'm laughing with, you know, at myself. You're just laughing with me. Yeah, and like, I think it's funny.
And those are the things that have the biggest impact and connect the most, because again, people want to look up to people, but they also want to know that you're the same. So like, when they see you sharing the real candid stuff, like,
I don't want to be,
there's no, you to connect.
There's no perfect. I don't want to be perfect.
Yeah, I mean, and you have a ton of engagement, you know, like I look through the comments and I see your crew, you know, engaging with you. There's a lot of engagement there. There's personal connection, and you're very active on engaging with that too. So that's awesome.
I want everyone to know that like, I'm not above anyone. I want everyone to feel equal.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
It's funny that you talk about like, you know, redoing, say, stories or posts or whatever. There's, I was over at a buddy's studio just down the street, Hot Yoga, Sydney, and I went over there to go take him some mini acai bowls for, he was doing a yoga session or whatever. So I showed up early, got him coffee or whatever. While I had my little setup with the coffee, they gave me a Bluetooth speaker. So I was playing music from my phone on the Bluetooth speaker, right? Mm-hmm. Once they started their yoga session, I turn off the music so they can have their music, during the yoga session. And I walk away and I go, and I'm like so behind on a post or whatever. I needed to do something. So I get on the story and I'm talking about like I'm promoting a podcast or whatever, and I'm saying something and I keep deleting it, like I literally 20 takes on this shit, mm-hmm. right? And I was like, man, why? And I'm replaying it, and it's not really how I'm sounding because I can't even hear myself. So it's more like I'm chewing on my tongue. Like I just know it's not sounding right.
Yeah.
So when I'm replaying it, I'm like, why can't I hear anything on my fucking phone? You know what I mean? So then after it, I was like, oh my shit, God. I'm still connected to that Bluetooth. So they're probably just hearing this like, hey, what's up?
Over and over again.
I'm over here. And then I forgot to follow up with him to see if that was actually the case, but I think it was. So, of course, this is, that was like you said, like laughing at yourself or mm-hmm. whatever. So, like the first thing when I realized that could have happened, jump right back on the story and be like, hey, I think this just might happen. That's just hilarious.
It is. Like, that's funny. We have a Bluetooth speaker at LVFT. I play music with when I train clients or stuff like that. And so I've done that sometimes where like all the warehouse workers are working and I'm trying to post on my story. And it's me talking over and over again, and I'm trying to like find the right like words to put or tagging things, and it's just replaying over and over again. But it's on the Bluetooth speaker, so it's really loud, and I feel bad. So
I'm not alone.
Nope.
Okay, cool.
No, you're not.
It's very normal. It happens all the damn time. So, but mental note: never do that again. So. Tell me a little bit about what the day in the life looks like, like you share a lot on the story, so mm-hmm. people get a general idea, but what's happening not on the story? What's the actual day in the life looking like for you? Like when you wake up, what time you wake up?
Are we talking like pre-quarantine, post-quarantine?
We're talking about right now.
Right now.
So
okay.
Yesterday.
Yeah, yesterday. Normally I wake up, I always make my bed, open the blinds.
First, do you think it's weird that people even want to know what your day looks like?
Honestly, no. I don't know. Okay.
I want to know because it gives so much insight. You know what I mean? So let's hear it.
When I started following people on YouTube and stuff, like I loved watching what they do in a day. I don't know what it is.
It's because you see that this motherfucker wakes up too.
Yeah.
Like
they're just like me.
Exactly.
Oh, they take their vitamins just like me.
Yeah.
I don't know. I make my bed. I'm very OCD with my stuff, and like I can't actually start my day until everything looks the way I want it to look. So I'll make my bed, I open the blinds, I always open the door because I live in California, it's so nice out, you gotta
let that breeze
take
come
it
through.
all in. I usually turn on Pandora. It's either like some reggae music or lately it's been the Tory Lane's Pandora station. You play some good stuff like G and Aco and stuff like that. It's very like chill, relaxing. So I'll turn those on. I do check my phone first thing in the morning. Yep, I'll admit it, just like everyone else.
And to each their own, you know what I mean? I think that's another thing. Like people share their morning routines, and then people feel like they got to do that. Like if that doesn't resonate with you, don't do it. You know what I mean? So like, yeah.
Yeah, I go on my phone. It's okay. And I'll go sit in my kitchen. I live in a studio apartment. I don't have like a dining table. I don't have anywhere to sit really. I have a little work desk, but I'll stand in my kitchen and I'll do whatever I need to do on my phone, whether it's like answer emails or sometimes make a post or I'll edit a post or try to come up with a caption or text friends, family back. And drink my water. I usually drink like a 32-ounce glass every morning.
Major key.
Yep, just to, get your metabolism going and feel healthy, I guess, and I'll sit there until I feel ready to eat breakfast. Stand. I refuse to sit in the morning. I just stay standing.
Get moving a little bit, okay.
Yeah, whatever it is I'm doing, as long as I'm just standing, I won't sit. Because I noticed for a while, like I would, if I sat down in the morning, then I felt like I wasn't getting enough done. Like I wasn't being as productive. But for some reason lately, I don't want to sit. just want to
Makes
constantly like be doing something or
makes
working
sense.
on
Makes sense.
something, or even if I am just sitting on my phone looking through Pinterest, but say like if I'm just looking at I almost came out and said a little secret, but that's not happening yet. It's going to happen
Almost
soon.
got
Soon,
it. Almost got it.
There's something I'm working on. And so even if I'm just sitting on Pinterest for like an hour looking
It's
up
not buying the gym.
ideas
It's not
for-
buying the gym that I'm selling.
Maybe
Because
it is.
Is that it? Okay, let me
No, I'm
know.
just kidding.
Let me know.
So this is actually kind of completely like out of the fitness realm.
Oh, awesome.
So
This is the adaptation that needs to happen at COVID, right? Okay, cool.
yeah. So okay, before the podcast started, we kind of were talking about like, remember I said like I would during quarantine I was sitting around not knowing like what to do, or I was like I can't sustain just off of personal training if this were to happen again, or if this lasted long term, if this is how the rest of our lives are going to be. I don't want to. I can't live my life like this. I have to do something else.
For sure.
So it kind of took months to figure out exactly like what exactly I wanted to do, but I kind of figured it out.
You figured it out standing in the morning, scrolling on Pinterest.
Yep.
Okay. Okay.
But yeah, just like I don't want to sit down. It just makes me feel unproductive.
No, it makes sense. I'm gonna stop sitting down in the fucking morning.
There you go.
I
I mean, it honestly might help you. You let me know if
It probably does.
changes.
I might even try to start sleeping standing up. Just get a head start the day before.
But yeah, then I'll make a coffee or kind of get ready. And then I usually either head to Live Fit to train clients or head there to film a workout, get some content. And then let's see. It's usually my mornings that are very more productive. The rest of the day, if I need to run any errands or go grocery shopping, or I'll ask Randall if he needs any help around Live Fit. If I don't have much to do, I actually come here and get the little acai bowl, go sit on the beach for a little. I try to like.
I feel bad that you get the mini bowl because that is on purpose. So expensive. Like,
I was like, oh man, because I remember you told me more bang for your buck if you get the what is it, micro?
That's my plan. You know, the reason we did that was because these annoying ass parents would come and they would order like the macro bowl and be like, hey, can I get 2 bowls? I want the micro, but I want an extra bowl and an extra spoon so I can put the other one in for my kid, which is all fine. I get it. But we were like, you know what? That's all fucking costs on us, you know? And there's like no appreciation, you know? Like they just think all these straws and shit are free. So we're like, no, we're going to make a kid's bowl, a mini bowl. And no, we can't split it, but you can buy that one. So I feel bad every time I see that on your story. I'm like, oh, damn it, I owe her $4.
No. I don't mind at all. I want to support your business, and
appreciate it.
the food, the acai bowls are amazing. And honestly, just like it's worth the money to just sit there and eat it. Like not everyone gets to do that. So I feel extremely thankful.
I might even barter this little gym space for you. So you get a mini bowl, you get a workout. Boom, done. You know what I'm saying? Earn that acai. But
thank you.
Well, no, I very appreciate you coming through.
Of course.
So yeah, you do spend some time down here, but it sounds like you stack most of your productivity in the morning, and then you make a good amount of time for yourself.
I'm more of a morning person. I'm not a night owl by any means. Usually, so after by the time I get home, same thing. I'll stay standing.
This girl never sits.
I don't like to sit down. I just stand in my kitchen forever. It feels like it's like literally my little studio is like my bed, my kitchen.
That's all you need.
TV, and then yeah, absolutely. I don't need anything more. I'm very minimalistic with that.
What's your relationship with making time for yourself? You know, like you mentioned, you were most productive in the morning. Are you okay with taking time for yourself, or do you feel like you need to be productive? I mean, you say you don't like to sit down, so I mean that might be a little indicator of that you always feel like you got to be doing something. But you know, like I do see you making time for the beach or whatever it might be. Are you okay with downtime?
Absolutely. But I think where I'm at right now, because we had so many months of quarantine and I did not think it was going to last that long, I spent a lot of time. I was freshly out of a relationship, and so I was really learning to be completely alone, but I was thriving. Ladies, thrive alone. Yeah.
That was another post. See, man, I was doing my homework. You put another post about like, no, I'm not looking for my better half because I'm not a motherfucking half to begin with.
The full, what did I say, full cake or
full
something?
Cake.
You're
Yep.
the whole cake.
You're
Like,
the whole damn cake.
yeah, you know.
And it's a cheat day.
Exactly. Oh man, I want some pizza. Anyways, but yeah, so I spent a lot of downtime in the beginning of quarantine. A lot. Like, I went through my depression phases just like everyone else does. I was like, I'll be completely honest. I would sit there and I cry a little bit. But I would sit. Maybe that's why I don't sit right now, because I would sit in my work chair for hours and almost like feel bad for myself, but I couldn't get out of it. But I think that's why now, like, I'm so determined and motivated to be productive and do things, because I felt like, you know, going through that quarantine for so long.
What were those thoughts though that were circulating in your head to make you feel a little depressed and cry? I mean, because in part, I guess, was the timing of the relationship ending.
It had nothing to do with that whatsoever. I mean, we were very civil about it. We were like, we're just going to be friends, and that was it. There was no hard feelings. We went through the ringer. We did everything that we could, so we know that we both gave it like our best, and what happened for a reason.
Yeah.
So, like, it had nothing to do with that, and it didn't really have anything to do with the fact of me being alone. Because I don't even want to call it single. Who's really single? You're in a relationship with yourself constantly. So it was more along the lines of, I just freshly moved to California. Okay, now I have to pay for this place by myself. I'm not making any income, and I was being stubborn, and I refused to file for any unemployment. I didn't want free money. I wanted to make my own. But
Last time we talked, I said, you could file for that shit? File? Because you can take that money, you can do something great with it.
I did end up filing like 2-3 weeks ago, so I got like the last 2 weeks of that extra $500 or $600 or whatever they were kind of giving out to people. But I was being very stubborn for a long time. I'm like, I don't want any free money. I want to make my own. But that, I think I'll be honest, like most of that did revolve around money, because I want to be successful and I want to be financially free and just have residual income. And the fact that I kept taking out of my savings after the pools, because the pools I made good money, but the money that I had in my savings I had done from training and just like actually, not saying that that's not actual work, but being more of an entrepreneur and be like my personal training was my business. So
when you were making the money with the pools, were you spending it just as fast as you were making it?
In the beginning, yes. I was young.
Yeah.
I was 17, 18. I was young. So making that money, not having any bills, I got my first car. I wanted to pay for that, and I'm going shopping all the time, or I would spend it. So I didn't really do too much saving with it until I got a little bit older, and I was like, it's this vicious cycle of working the summer, having no work, getting a little unemployment, but spending all your money in the winter months. Because you knew, okay, pool season's coming back up, I can go back to auditions and I'm going to make money again. But it's never a for sure thing.
Yeah.
That's the problem. But it's a vicious cycle, and it gets in your head, and you're like, oh, I know I'm going to go back to the pools.
Yeah.
But what if you don't?
Yeah.
What if nobody takes you because there's a girl who's 5 years younger than you? They like her more. She's got bigger boobs. That's how it goes.
That's usually what happens to me. I get overlooked because I'm not packing. I'm 169 pounds right now, just looking small.
You're fine. You're fine, man.
Just fucking. So, down moments during COVID, largely around income or the lack of opportunity to generate more income.
Because I was living alone, and I was like, I have all these bills to pay. Like, I want to be able. Remember I said I'm a little minimalistic, but the one thing that I do like to have is like a nicer car. That's just like my guilty pleasure. But I always want to make sure that I can pay for that. I don't want to backtrack. So just paying bills and taking the money out of my savings was just heart-wrenching. And I'm like, if this goes on, if I don't make any money, I will be broke in 4 months. considering all my bills and the rent and groceries, and that's not even spending any extra money if I wanted to buy anything for myself.
For sure.
So the thought of that, it just like, it broke me. But one day I'd be okay. I'd be totally fine. And I'm like, I'm going to get through this. 2 days later, just down.
Yeah.
It was so up and down for a while.
Yeah, and then
stressful.
I mean, I think that's what it is, right? You know, this is a very stressful moment, like a lot of unknown, right? And I think like COVID, ultimately, it ends up like creating, again, two people. You know, it's either like the disempowered victims who's like, damn, all this shit is happening to me. I don't know what to do. This is, you know, I need someone to come and pull me out of this, whether it's unemployment, whether it's whatever it is, or there's the people who have agency and are turning themselves into the hero, you know? So like the people who look at this as like not just a problem, but a problem to be solved, that there's opportunity that comes out of it. And there's no, like, it doesn't need to be that you're one or the other this entire time. So like, you know, when COVID first hit, like I didn't know, like it was probably a solid 2 weeks of just like complete blind, you know, I just had no idea what to do, you know? Until then I was like, oh yeah, I got a lot of skills, you know, I'm very talented. You know, looking at all the positive qualities that I have for myself and taking on that sense of empowerment again, you know, that I can wake up and I can decide to do something productive, either go and show and put in work at the Fit Bar or the Space Bar, or create a new business to float us during this time, whatever it is. I took control, and I'm going to be my own fucking hero during this whole thing. And I'm not going to sit around and wait for COVID, for that call from any governor to be like, oh, you can go and do this now. Nah.
But look at how easily everyone's jobs got just ripped away from them.
Yeah.
Everyone.
Yeah. So we won't go into the details of what you're working on, but it sounds like there's been ebbs and flows, but ultimately you took ownership over this situation. You know, continued to service your clients, you know, and do all that, and then created something new that you're working on. So that's what the latter half of that two options you got during the situation, either a victim or you take control of the agency that you have and you go and do some things. So
it took a while though.
Oh, definitely. That's what I want people to know, that it's not, you know, it's not, you know, you need to work through it. You need to reflect on this. You need to clear the mind. And yeah, there's some people that just straight from the jump adapted. They figured it out, you know. I think I was trying to do that. That was part of why, as COVID progressed, I even got like a little deeper in the hole. Like I knew that ultimately I'd figure it out, but it's like you know, we adapted pretty quickly. Like I turned Pasadena into like a little grocery store, you know, we're trying to sell veggies and all this stuff.
Cool.
And, you know, trying to do all that I could, and it was still not doing anything. So that's been the hardest part of all of this, is that the one thing that I've always had going for myself of like putting in work doesn't matter. You know what I mean? And that was just like, holy shit. Like the one thing I had over the competition, it means nothing. And that's, again, because I was looking at everybody else as if they were controlling my destiny. I was looking at, you know, Garcetti and what he was saying about LA restaurants and gyms and, you know, these spas or whatever, that they couldn't be open.
But
and I'm like,
I hate to even say anything, but who is anyone to tell anyone what an essential business is necessarily?
Yeah. I mean, and I think there's this other idea that the people who want to open their businesses are doing it selfishly. Like, trust me, I'm more on the left side of things. I want to help protect the community and the health of everybody, but my way of doing that is different than a lot of other people's. Other people's is like hide cats, put them in the corner, put masks on them. But no, we're in the health and wellness space, and we're in this space because we know the impact that this actually has. You know, when you're looking at a 46% obesity rate in the U.S. and know that all the people that are struggling with COVID have these, you know, these underlying issues of obesity and health issues, like, we are the solution, you know? And it's like, we need to stay open. And that's ultimately why this second shutdown, I was like, fuck that. We're not closing, man. Like, we're going to stay open. I'm going to sell the shit out of what I can right now.
There you go.
Because it is helping people. And it gives us a chance to stay in business, you know, and it doesn't. So
I understand, though. That second shutdown, I had no work again. I had no clients. I was like, really right now. So I just I took off to Vegas, hung out with my family, and decided to come back and do just like a little group training. So I just have a small group of people. Because I know I still have to be careful and weary and make sure like everyone feels comfortable. So I kept it kind of small, just to help like get people back on their feet and feeling good about themselves.
Yeah.
'Cause there is a lot of negativity out there, and it's hard to stay positive when everyone's just like down in the dumps.
Yeah, but I mean that's your, sometimes whether you ask for it or not, like you become this leader, and that's kind of what you have to do. You have to take the safety of those clients, seriously, and you do that. You know what I mean? I'm sure you guys aren't doing fucking like some partner work, whatever the fuck, like you're conscious in that program, what that small group looks like,
Yeah.
So that's the thing, is like if we're doing this safely, as safe as we can, the repercussions of not maintaining your health are so much greater. You know what I mean? So yeah, power to you for doing that. And that's why we built this friggin' gym over here, like we literally, so if you're on the video and you're watching, you can see a little corner, there's a little squat rack over here, some kettlebells, slam balls and whatnot. But this is a direct adaptation of COVID. So when we shut down over here, the Fit Bar was, an essential business. So we were able to run it, but we weren't able to have any seating, so it's like now we're paying for this prime ass real estate, all this square footage that can't be used. So I was like, man, we can't do that. We need to monetize this some way. So we literally build the wall right down the middle of this, put a little gym over here, and at the very least this is going to be an employee gym where our crew can stay active.
Yeah.
But low key, gonna pretend like nobody listens to this. Nah, we're selling one-on-one personal training out this bitch.
Oh,
so it's like we're
snap.
renting, we're treating this like as a membership model, like we would at our gyms,
That
rather
is
than
cool.
opening this up to everybody. Just gonna have a handful of, maybe 2 or 3 personal trainers that we'll sell memberships to.
Yeah.
And basically they can book sessions, on Acuity, and buy 10 packs or buy single sessions, come in here and train their clients, because this is like a collective team effort. And as we do that, granted, I could charge a lot more, because like having just access to any kind of weights is like a premium right now. Trying to build out a garage gym at the house is impossible. But it's not about us making a ton of money or taking advantage of this situation. It's like, hey, if you can charge your client $100, rent the space from us for 20, 25, like you're still making a killing. We're getting a little bit. And I know that person's most likely going to buy a smoothie afterwards. So it's just like that layer of it just all makes sense. And then we pushed all of our seating outside. We're in California, and, there's 7 people sitting out. Oh, no, there's 4. No, there's 5. But there's people, everyone's sitting outside, It's like, that's what it is,
That's
so
really
we'll keep
smart,
this model
though.
moving forward.
Yeah.
And it's like, it just goes in line with our branding and the Fit Bar, and this is an adaptation.
I was going to say you're adapting to what's going on out
and
there.
it's going to stay, and we're going to be a stronger business afterwards, even if could open up and make this seating again. Nah, this is the silver lining in all of this. There's opportunity there. You just have to create it. You know what I mean? So, so we talked a little bit about what the day in the life looks like now, today.
Yeah.
What does the day in the life look like in 5 years?
Oh, man.
Walk yourself through who you are in 5
Hoo-wee.
years. What does it look like? You might have to leak what you're working on now, because it might change your day.
Oh, man. I do not know. That's like the best answer I could give, because every year that's gone by, I've been in a completely different space. But there are a few things that have happened, like moving to California was one of my goals. And then being able to train out of LiveFit was one of my other goals. So like I've accomplished those, but my next goal is being, I guess like technically am kind of my own boss, but at the same time, I want to have my own business.
Yeah.
Outside of the fitness realm, or my own company, or like my own brand. That's kind of where I'm heading towards. In 5 years, I don't know. It's like, that's a scary thought. That's a really scary thought. I don't like.
What's yeah, and honestly, I don't operate that way. Like I'm
I'm
not
like,
one
I'm
to
just
actually
some
I
so
go with
like.
the flow.
I was gonna say go with the flow. Like I don't know.
Sometimes it causes a little anxiety for me though, because I have this like big vision of what I want. And I understand that if you don't break that down into smaller sections, like it's a lot tougher to get there. But
Yeah.
so far, like things have gone pretty well. So I guess maybe the big picture, like what is it that you're really passionate about, say, 15, 20 years, 30 years down the road, if things go well and you're making the right decisions or even some of the wrong decisions that are pushing you towards the right decisions.
Yeah.
What does like a successful 50-year-old Tori look like?
Going back on financial freedom and residual income, and doing whatever I need to do now to make sure that when I am older, I have all the time in the world to just like, live my life. I don't want to like stress about it so much. Obviously, I'm sure there'll always be some like work I'm doing or something. But I love traveling and I love just like seeing different places, and I want to be at a place in my life where like if I do have kids or whenever something like that comes along, that I can be able to provide and give to them whatever they want. I want to spoil them. Hopefully they won't be,
Little assholes.
Exactly. But I just like, I don't know. When I was young, my parents were able to give me a lot of what I wanted. Like if we would go to the store and I wanted 5 shirts, she would buy me 6 shirts. But then the economy crashed and that all changed completely 180. But when I get to that point, like if we want to go on vacation, we're going to go on vacation. I don't want to have to stress about money because it's controls people's lives so much, but I want to be at a point where I'm so like well off to take care of my kids and they're well off and that type of thing.
So when COVID hit and you're kind of sad, were those some of the things that you were thinking about? Was it like down the road, like shit, this is gonna fuck me up to not do those things?
Not necessarily, because it was
Asking for a friend.
it was so in the moment. It's weird because I knew everything would be okay. I just didn't know when or how long it would take. I had a feeling that we all would come out of it. Things would never be the same, but you just adapt.
Yeah, again, I mentioned that because that's been the shit that I come down to at my lowest points during this whole thing is like all that I've grinded for the past 10 years is completely at risk right now. Even from starting the first gym that we opened was specifically for building enough residual income and time that I could spend with my kids. And what that looked like at the time was I was married at that time. So it was taking that risk of doing that so I could spend more time with my wife, ultimately, who I thought I was going to have kids with, right? Ultimately, that didn't happen, whatever, whole nother story there, right? But, the mission is still the same. The mission was still, okay, let's create these businesses so I can have enough time to coach my kids' baseball team and be there for my family and travel and do all that.
All we have is time.
For sure. So it's like creating these, there's 8 different businesses over the past 10 years that we now have, right? So it's like this legit has threatened it all. All of our gyms are shut down. Fit bars have been limping along. So it's like, damn, all of this, leaving that marriage. I left that marriage because she ultimately didn't want to have kids. So leaving a marriage so I can still see through the bigger mission of having this family and doing all that I've been working for. And all that I've been through the struggles of trying to create all this stuff is just like, boom, now at risk, and where like real talk, it could have to start all over from scratch. And it's just like, God damn, that's crazy. And then something else that plays into that just as much as like, in order for me to get through this stuff, like I feel like I just need to be 100% on all the time, showing up, pulling 12, 14 hours and then going home and working on other ideas to keep things moving. So it's like, I feel like I'm farther than I've ever been from that goal, you know, because the cash flow ain't there. The cash is all going towards trying to keep things alive. The time isn't there, you know, because now I need to work longer times in order to make it happen. And ultimately, I can't even leave, you know, I leave the house and I see my little puppy, my dog sitting there looking at me, and I'm about to walk away from him for 14 hours. And it's like, man, I see a kid in that little guy's face, you know what I mean? And I just feel so far removed.
Yeah.
But yeah, so I mean, those are the thoughts that make me, you know, super down and, you know, super depressed. But it's like, again, you got to snap out of it, because that mindset isn't going to get you to where you need to be.
Well, because it's already happened.
Right.
So you can't, there's nothing you can necessarily do about that happening, because it's happened. So you have to take it for what it is and figure out, okay, well, what's the next step? Because every single person is dealing with something. Everyone's taking a step back.
Yeah.
Everyone.
For sure. You know, yeah. So just, I mean, past successes does not dictate future results. You know what I mean? And like, sometimes just we get into this flow of things thinking that things are always going to be okay, but we should have been adapting prior to this happening. I should have been creating new businesses that were going to be more passive income outside of the health and wellness space prior to this happening. You know what I mean? Like, so this shines light on things that we need to work on. It's just about, you know, pulling up the pants and getting to work, you know, and it's tough, you know, and I think I sometimes, you know, I try to really share the reality of my situation with people. You know, I don't want to come across like things that are always just super great. You know what I mean? Like, you know, because most of the stuff is fairly optimistic that I share. You're like, oh, I'm in a good mood. I'm over here doing whatever. But the struggle's real. You know what I mean? And like, we're all dealing with it. So
Yeah.
So yeah. But anywho, let's get back to some friggin' positivity.
Ooh, snap. Oh, snap.
Nah, we're probably going on an hour right now. So let's just wrap this up.
Done already?
Let's just wrap this up.
What?
Um,
Time flew.
I know. I think we're probably we're damn near at an hour.
That's
so.
crazy.
One last question.
Are we doing it again?
We're gonna do one last question. Oh, so anytime you come on through. One last question.
Yeah, of course.
Do you find yourself more motivated by fear or love?
Oh boy. More motivated by. That's a interesting question, man.
Are we getting philosophical over here?
Wow, making me think right now. I feel like that's a toughie.
How about
that's a toughie?
We can roll it into a nice package.
I was gonna say kind of both.
I was gonna say I was gonna help you there, and I was gonna be like, for me,
both.
It's the fear of not being loved.
That's putting it together.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
That's what I was definitely gonna say, like putting both together, because then you have fear and you have love. Okay, what about the fear of love? That's scary.
It is. That's real. So I didn't really give you, I don't think, all the insight of what like the Barcode Collective represents.
Yeah.
So the code within Barcode is the courage to optimize and develop your essence. And ultimately, I think that's how you get through fear, is by having courage to lean into the fear and optimizing the areas within your life that need a little bit of attention. So we typically focus on 4 different pillars, and that's mind, body, business, and relationships.
Okay.
So your mind kind of being like your mental state, your mental health, your mindset. Body, obviously, nutrition, movement, business, being successful, you know, successful in a way that you're proud of ultimately. And then relationships, whether it's significant others, your parents, your siblings, all of that. If you break a life that has it all, in my opinion, a life that has it all is success in all of those, and kind of understanding that at any given time, one is going to be suffering so that the others can flourish, but ultimately fill in the buckets of all of them. So
finding that balance.
Finding the balance, for sure. So where you are today, what would you say is the area that you most need to focus on to fill up a little bit? Your mindset, your body, relationships, or business?
Right now in this moment, I'd have to say business, for sure.
Cool.
Business.
Business and
gotta take care of business, man.
Yeah, handle business. Handle business.
I don't know. I feel like I've gotten to a place where I've mentally grown and flourished in a way. I look at relationships with people very differently now. So I feel like business is
the area to
kinda,
focus
yeah.
in, man. At 2020.
2021, we're coming in strong. At least I hope so. Please, no more crazy
I mean,
quarantines.
yeah, 2020's been crazy.
And it's already August.
I'm going to go pick up a Christmas tree on the way home, wrap a few gifts, wake up tomorrow morning, hoping that's the end of the fucking year.
Wait, don't skip Halloween.
Oh, you're right.
I know.
Nah,
Fuck.
see,
You seem like a Halloween guy.
I'm not any type of guy right now. I'm a wake up, go and try to make this whole thing
right,
work
all right.
right now type of guy. And that's
like
what's
it,
super
like it.
sad right now.
Like,
I mean, I don't think people quite understand that I don't do shit. It's all about this. But this is the podcast and stuff. This is another thing that kind of came back out of COVID. So I started this last year in January, went strong all through the year. This construction in Pasadena kind of threw me off a little bit. But when your back's up against the wall again, it's like for us, it was like, man, brick and mortar businesses are crushing us right now. You know, all of the rents, the mortgages that we have on the properties and stuff is like crushing us. So forever we've talked about getting online. Like, what are we going to do to get online and get a little revenue coming from that? So, you know, I knew about this shit like last year and started building a little bit of an audience.
it's something that I always like thought of potentially doing. Like, it seems
Going brick and mortar? Or
podcast.
You should.
Yeah.
Yeah, you should.
I
Shit.
think it would be fun.
New business idea. The rest of 2020, I'm renting out my equipment here. So if you'd like to book an hour here
Wait,
at the Fit
what?
Bar, I'll produce this shit. We start
What?
you use the equipment. Boom. Let's do it.
I'm down. Let's go.
Okay.
We got this.
Sign on the dotted line. You've seen it here. But no, I mean, seriously, those are shit that I'm thinking about because I got this square footage in Pasadena. It's like prime ass real estate, right? So like I'm paying a shit ton for it. And I created this whole upstairs space. We had massage therapy, cupping, scraping, all this happening in this little space.
Yeah.
And then I had small group yoga and all this stuff happening. And we can't do any of that. So I go into that space every day and I'm looking at this 30-foot ceilings and I'm like, God damn, how do I monetize this? What do I do? And that was literally one of the ideas is like, let me post up this equipment in this office on the regular. You know, we'll print out some different banners for the different backdrops of whoever show's coming in here.
This is
and
so
we'll record
cool.
this thing. You know,
I'm
and it's like,
here for it.
whether it's down here,
Can
whatever.
I be the first one? I'll be the first one to rent it out.
I'm gonna draw it up.
All right.
Draw it up.
I'm gonna. This is what I'm gonna do today. I'm gonna figure out what I'm gonna name it. I'm gonna do it.
Let's do it.
All right.
It starts with that first episode. And the thing is, you don't even need any of this damn equipment. You can do it from your phone. But
Yeah, but it's cool.
But I want you around. I want you to pay for it. So come on. No, it's funny. But seriously.
I'm playing, but no, really though.
But seriously. No, I mean, that's the thing. And when we're talking about getting creative on how to make shit work, that's it, man. Like, what do you have laying around the damn house that you can do something with? And not from a place of like, oh, I need money. No, it's a place of value, creating relationships and helping other people. Like in this case, this would help other people spread the word of all that you got to share.
Aw.
You know what I mean? And like, this is how it comes full circle. So you can do all this shit without a greedy mentality. And like that's what I want to surround myself with, people that are trying to get after it while bringing other people with them or empowering the people around them too. So yeah, who knows? Yeah, that could be a reality. But anywho, podcast is back in action. We're probably 2 months back in
Here for
of
it.
recording it. So yeah, goal ultimately is to create a little bit of presence online and launch, the Barco Collective Coaching Program, and focusing on those 4 pillars and helping people become better people.
I like it.
Whatever that means. So
Let's
let's wrap it up and let you get to the rest of your day standing. Because you've sat long enough.
I know. I'm like twiddling my. I'm just kidding. No,
I'm
fine.
enough. So let people know where they can find you. If they have any questions, reach out to you and whatnot.
Of course, Instagram is usually what I use for everything. What is my Instagram handle? I think it's Tori White with 2 E's _. Yeah.
With
I'm like, wait a second. Or you can email.
throw the email out. Wait, no. Yeah, you can throw an email. This isn't the Joe Rogan podcast. If this is Joe Rogan, I would say don't throw that email out there because they're going to blow you up. But you might get 1 or 2. Who knows?
Like, hey, what up?
Yeah, I wouldn't
just
say.
Instagram is fine.
Instagram's cool. Quick question on the Instagram, though. Like, do you ever get nervous about that shit going down? I mean, like TikTok about to get fucking pulled.
Yeah.
So those influencers and people on TikTok that are crushing it, they better jump on Reels or something.
Absolutely, because I have built my whole presence and business off of Instagram. So the thought of that going down scares the crap out of me.
So
But
help
I don't
Tori
think-
sleep at night and go to her Instagram and DM her your email so she can build out that email list
No,
just in
thank
case.
you.
Just in case.
I don't think Instagram will ever go down though, because did you see the new reel? They're doing like a reel.
Mm-hmm. Oh, you haven't seen my reels that I've been posting?
No, what? I'm not okay. I'm not gonna lie.
I'm just
Your
fucking-
personal page, I finally followed back today.
Oh, well, thank you.
I am terrible
Oh, thanks.
at following people back, and they honestly
Now every morning when I wake up, I'm gonna go make sure you're still following.
like, hey, I don't go and unfollow. I've never done that, but people get mad at me because I don't follow them, and I'm like, what? What do you mean? If I don't follow you, just DM me and be like,
Who's
hey,
getting mad though?
hey,
Why are people getting mad?
I don't know.
Sound like they need some coaching to deal with their issues. But yeah, no, seriously, send her your emails just in case.
Want to
Instagram
help?
number. Yeah, that's
Here,
it.
You
That's
know,
it.
or if you just want to have a conversation, you have any questions?
You do engage.
I love meeting new people, so
For sure.
have no
You've
problem.
grown out of that shyness in the Vegas pools, and now you're just flourishing, just a straight up people person. So hit her up.
It's kind of crazy.
It is.
Kinda
That's
crazy.
growth. You guys can find me at Cub_Saldana or Barcode_Collective or Spacebar Wellness or Fit Bar Cafe. But yeah, I almost forgot, man. I've been over here editing these videos of 3 workouts and a yoga flow every single week for free for people. You know where you can find it? At
What?
the website, fitbarcafe.com.
Hey, there you go.
Or
There you go.
spacebarwellness.com. Go to the weekly program. We got a pretty badass, it's a body weight right now, but we've been progressing this for 3 months. And shit, you can only do so much time under tension with no weights. So next round might need to be bringing in some kettlebells. Everyone's still working at home.
dumbbells.
Some bands, some dumbbells. Or jump in here at the Fit Bar and get your workout in.
Yeah.
But pretty legit program, actually. My boy Anthony has been leading the charge on that. So go get those free workouts.
Go
And
get
while you're
'em.
there, DM me your fucking email too, because I might
There
have
you
a
go.
couple offers coming your way here pretty soon. But until next time, let's get the hell out of here. Peace.
Bye.